welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and thank you very much for tuning into the show. Hopefully we don't lose power because there's a lot of wind going on outside, so I'm hoping we don't lose power. I mean, again, like previous episode, but we'll see how that all goes. Before I get too much into the wrestling stuff, I got a question. Now, obviously, I'm very involved with the music stuff, so one of my favorite artists growing up was Billy Joel, and I kind of used to use one of his songs as a warm-up when I was taking like vocal lessons, still kind of do. But I was wondering, has everyone seen the video for his newest single, Turn the Lights Back On? Now, this is the first song he's written, I guess, in 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. He's co-written with some other individuals, and actually the story behind that is pretty cool. If you can find it on YouTube or find it online, it's actually a pretty interesting story. An individual kind of approached him and convinced him to write again, because he had pretty much said that writing was a process I don't think he really enjoyed all that much anymore. He continued to tour and do things and sell out concert venues, but hasn't produced anything original in a very, very long time. And there's a few things about this. First of all, I love the song. I absolutely love the song. It's a little bit different from some of Billy Joel's previous stuff. One is the lack of a bridge. I noticed a lot of his songs do kind of have a bridge. It was very much a pretty standard verse chorus kind of structure. A lot of it wasn't real standard in the sense that it was 6/8 time, which is deviates from the 4/4 time you always hear in pop music. I don't want to get too technical. I'll probably lose a lot of listeners out there or viewers. But I did enjoy it. It gives a little, I don't want to say uneasiness, but almost like a waltz feel to it. There's been a few other songs. Hold on. I had to close a pop-up window there for a second. But, Alcohol from Brad Paisley kind of jumps to mind about the 6/8 time. It does give it kind of a waltz type feel. There's a little bit of a wow kind of feeling at the end of it because it's, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing, which is your standard 4/4 common time, so it does give it kind of a waltz, kind of lilting feel to it, which kind of gives it a classical, kind of a timeless feel, which I like a lot. And, a lot of stuff, a lot of the stuff in it is kind of, he loves to write in C major. Several of his songs, I noticed, I know multiple songs of his have been in C major. At least the ones that I've, covered in the past or kind of sung in the past were C major. But I hear that this is common with piano players. I'm not a piano player. I won't pretend to be. I can barely get by on the keyboards. I do what I can, and that's about it. But he has like a little, like an A minor solo in there, which is kind of, it's relative to the C major, which, like I said, most non-musicians I probably lost already. Which is very common within a song to kind of add dynamics and it just sounds cool. Throwing A minor scale in there, kind of to change things up and add some dynamics, which is very common in rock music. You kind of, the entire song is kind of a root 4th, 5th progression. Then the soul a lot of times will do like an A minor pentatonic scale or an A blues scale, which is based off the minor pentatonic, there's a few questions I have regarding this. I noticed that originally when I heard this, and if I covered in this past, I'm sorry, but originally when I heard this, I kind of assumed it was regarding his career / music. Since he hadn't written in so long, I kind of saw the allegory of turning the lights back on, performing again, and relating to someone who's been absent from the music scene in a long time, it kind of hit home with me with that, anytime you return from not doing something, especially music, you kind of wonder, is it too late, etc., which he touches on with the lyrics, I should say. But I'd seen through a Howard Stern interview that actually also relates to a possible relationship, because Howard Stern asked him, is he referring to a girl? And he said, kind of, sort of, it's part of it. There's a lot more meaning to it. That's something also I noticed with the lyrics, because he collaborated, because he took so much time on it. The lyrics on this are pretty deep, and they're very, very allegorical. They're not the common kind of Billy Joel lyrics. I just noticed on his previous recordings throughout time, he's always been pretty straightforward. He's an excellent storyteller, but there's always been, everything has been pretty upfront and to the point, and very apparent, and very transparent as to what he's trying to get across a lot of times. Whereas this had, I think, multiple meanings. I think that's because of the collaboration on the lyrics. A lot came out, and I think it's some of the best work he's done in a very long time. Well, it's the only work he's done in a very long time, but this is something that could have been released in the 70s or 80s, I think, and have been a huge hit. I don't see that happening these days. Just people aren't interested in music the way they used to be, it seems. Looking at what's popular right now, we've been trained to kind of accept some very superficial, very, very simplistic kind of music. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that necessarily in a bad way. It's the fact of the times. Things are written for, acceptance on kind of a third grade level. So you don't see a lot of songs that go this deep into their meanings, and it's refreshing. It's extremely refreshing. I know he got a standing ovation at the Grammys when he performed this, which was really cool. I have some questions regarding this, and I kind of went over this. I showed the video to my wife, and she had the very similar reaction to when I first viewed the video. Like I said, the song, I think is great, absolutely great, but I'm still trying to decide how I feel about the video, and it incorporates previous versions of Billy Joel, and it kind of shows his younger self going through different phases, kind of the original, Piano Man phase, kind of the Innocent Man phase, kind of when he was with Chrissy Brinkley and whatnot, and it kind of goes through different steps throughout his career, because as a performer, we all kind of take on different personas as we go through different phases of our career, and that's clearly shown through the video. It's well done considering the existing technology. Question I have, watching it is I literally come up with the question: is the video creepy or is it absolutely brilliant? I find it very interesting. I can't stop watching it because there's something about the AI which is unnerving. You kind of look at it like it looks fake. It doesn't look like a human being, but it sort of does, which is really kind of an unnerving quality. And like I said, I've watched it multiple times. I can't tell if I love this video or I hate it. And a thing that also really messed with me is I don't know if it's the visuals screwing with me or if it's just or if they actually processed his voice throughout the video, and I've yet to see anybody address this in any other videos, because I've watched multiple videos regarding the song. So I watched this video, and like I said, my wife had the same exact reaction. Did they process his voice in any manner leading up to the final stage, where they show him in current time as an older man? Like I said, I don't know if it's the visuals messing with me or if they did any processing to induce this, because they can use AI to make people's voices sound younger or older or whatnot. That's, a relatively common process nowadays. You see it in movies, you see it other places. So am I just imagining this, or did that actually occur on the recording? I can't find any where it indicates that they did change his voice. And the funny thing is, I listened to the single previous to watching the video, and I can't remember having that feeling with the just listening to it on Spotify. So I wonder, is it the visuals that accompany the song that make me feel that way? Like when one thing I know is it seems like the very early on, his vocals are very wet. They're very, very affected by reverb, and that's a recording term. When something has reverb or any other effect applied to it, rather than just straight through, without anything affecting it, the term, use the term wet. And it does appear to be rather wet. I'll use that term, which early on in his career, I noticed, like I was re-listening to some of his stuff, they kind of hit his vocals in that manner. I don't know if it was just the producer doing that, but kind of, so it made me kind of flash back to his earlier recordings in that sense. So, like I said, am I imagining that, or did that actually occur? So it's because showing it to another individual and them having the same response to it, it kind of makes me wonder, did they do something, or is it just a mind fuck kind of your mind playing tricks on you based on what you're seeing? So that's kind of the response. I'd love to get some feedback on that. Am I imagining that, or did that actually occur? I love the video, the video footage of his earlier days, like showing him with his kids and whatnot, and showing him throughout his career, actual footage, which that I absolutely loved, and then bringing it back to the visual of him currently, that aspect of it I found great, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, being an old fan, when I was a kid, I had every tape, and that shows my age, that he ever put out. So bring that into my current being in my musical career / who I am, that he probably influenced me a lot more than I'd like to admit. And, especially with my vocal stylings, because I do have some timbral qualities and range tonal qualities that are kind of similar to his, which is why it probably was such a good match for, like I said, one of the songs I used to warm up to was And So It Goes, and which is a rather obscure song of his. I think it's I have it off of his Greatest Hits 3. I don't remember which album that originally came off of, but that's, like I said, I would love to get feedback on that. I'd love to hear what people think about that, because is it just me, or or did they actually do something, to his voice? And how does everyone feel about that video, once you watch it? Like I said, it was, I loved hearing it, because it just, makes me feel good to know that he is once again producing something. He doesn't know if he's going to produce an album based off of this. He doesn't know if he's going to just leave this as a single. I'd love to hear him produce an album off. I'd love to hear some new material from him. But if he doesn't enjoy the process anymore, I don't want him to go through that just to be miserable. Who wants somebody to be miserable? But we'll see that. One of the other things, like I said, non-wrestling related, that I got to watch the documentary for Garth Brooks has now up on Amazon Prime. My wife and I watched that. I've seen the first episode concerning the making of his bar, Friends in Low Places, on Broadway in Nashville. And I'd like to give a shout out to one of my friends, Matt Rossi, co-wrote the theme song for that. So I'm real happy about that. Real cool hearing that. I'd like to see him appear in in an episode at some point. That would be awesome. But I'm happy that he's getting a paycheck and happy that he's getting the props that he deserves. So it was really good to hear that. Getting back to wrestling. Or actually getting to wrestling, I should say. I did see the Adam Copeland and Christian Cage match on Dynamite. It was cool seeing it in Canada. It was cool seeing it in, seeing Christian Edge go back to, kind of getting back. No, I want to say teaming up because obviously they're versing each other, but it was good to see their interaction. How's that in the ring and outside of the ring? What really bothered me was the really bad production on this. I just couldn't stop thinking this is a pretty good match. This is a good match, and with the interference and having the run-ins and stuff, but when they went out in the crowd and whatnot and started doing the brawling outside of the ring, they had like one spotlight that was lighting the thing, and that kept bothering me so badly, man. It's sad to see Christian and Edge, Adam Copeland, end their careers in AEW. I'm hoping they come back to WWE for one last stint because it's sad to watch. It really is. Watching these guys wrestle in half-packed, quarter-packed not auditoriums, but coliseums, I should say, in venues. It's sad. They deserve a lot better than that, and Copeland's not the draw that they thought he would be, unfortunately. Probably hasn't ever been. If they had him there with CM Punk, I think this company would be in a much better position. They can't just keep shooting themselves in the foot, and Tony Khan can't book worth a damn. I'm sorry. The Booker of the Year garbage needs to stop because he's horrible booking. He's horrible running a company, and it's sad because there's so much incredible talent on that roster. And I've said many times before that they're just being wasted. They're just being wasted. It's horrible to see. I'm glad they're getting paid. I really am, but some of these guys deserve a much bigger spotlight, and it's a horrible spotlight. I saw it firsthand and deserved a much better spotlight during that match because the lighting was horrible. You shouldn't have to hide the crowd like that, and they have to. Unfortunately, it's horrible. But start playing smaller venues or do something. Just the product looks bad. It looks bad. It's poorly paced. It's poorly booked, and it makes me sad. It really does, On the WWE front, like I said, there's not going to be a whole lot of drastic things going on. We got some really cool stuff going on with the, the Monday night stuff. We had, Nia Jax and the Becky match was, I'd like to say, much better than I thought it would be. It looks like Nia is actually kind of, maybe she's starting to take things seriously. I see her putting less weight into some of her moves and not trying to kill people, which is good. But it's still she scares me every time she gets in the ring, and I was afraid to ever go up against Becky. Considering that Becky has a big program, going into WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley, and that's real freaking. But she got through it. But it's a better match than I thought it would be. I just don't. Like I said, I had two problems with it. One is Becky is so waifish and thin at this point. She's not convincing me that she could stand toe-to-toe with Rhea Ripley. I'm sorry. If in real life, Rhea would just absolutely crush her, destroy her. And we had some things like the contract signing for the Intercontinental match, and which was good. It kept telling the story because we had the interaction with with Sammy and Gable, which Gable kind of said that it puts doubt into our minds whether he can win or not, and I really like that, how they're implementing that and kind of doing that. And more qualifier matches going on for the tag team, and Jey Uso calling out Jimmy, which we knew would happen. Jay's still not cutting the best promos, but I'm glad they did that the way they did, and I'm glad that kind of went down. I mean, leading us into SmackDown with the confrontation between Cody and Roman, which it was pretty predictable, but it was still entertaining, and I like the fact that they brought out Jey Uso and Seth Rollins through the crowd, which I like that because it kind of shows that Cody isn't stupid. He's not playing a dumb babyface, and I hope I didn't unfortunately I just put my phone near my digital audio interface. I hope there's no interference based off of that, because I know sometimes I pick up noise because of that. So if there's noise, it's because of that. But it was, like I said, really predictable, but still had to be done. It was an important step towards going towards WrestleMania. So they did a good job, storytelling jobs there. They could have put a little bit more into it, but we had a good match between the Authors of Pain. Not that. And wow, I put down good match between Authors of Pain and Final Testament. But we had a good match between them and the Street Profits is what I should have written down. That threw me for a split second. But I'm glad to see him doing more with Final Testament. I'm hoping this. They did some vignettes online, which furthered the whole feud, which I'm glad they did. Does anybody know what the heck's going on with Nick Aldis? He was injured. What the heck? How the heck did he get injured? Is he playing the general manager role too tough? Was he training for a future match? What's going on with that, man? I would love to see a general manager versus general manager match, and maybe at Survivor Series or something. I think that would be cool. Because I still think Adam Pearce could probably go too. He looks like he could, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. But because I don't know what his history of injuries is, but hey, unfortunately, I'm running real short on time, which always happens. I wish I could make this an hour show, but unfortunately, it is what it is. But thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you get a chance, please go down to Then and Now, a flea market, downtown Trenton. If you're in the Western Tennessee area, check them out. We got some goods down there, so tell them that Crushing Kayfabe sent you, and check them out. They're right across from the square. You can't miss them in downtown Trenton, Tennessee. What else we got going on? CrushingKayfabe.com. Check us out there. Crushing with a K. Check us out on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can keep these lights on. Maybe I can afford another extension cord so I can put my light back on the back. My wife's using it for a heating lamp right now for the baby chicks that we have. So we got some baby chicks, ducks, and even some geese. Not geese. Wow, turkey. I meant to say. Sorry. I'm amazed they're actually not saying anything right now, but they're pretty loud. But yeah, if you get a chance to check us out on Patreon, check us out on CrushingKayfabe.com. And, like I say, prayers being sent out for the Ukraine and for Israel. And, check us out online. And thank you for everyone for tuning in, and God bless.